today's meditation, we talk about some of the physical morphing things our bodies are going through, and I share some tools with you to be more comfortable and safe and sane transformation. Good morning, and welcome to the Wednesday morning Be the Light meditation at 9 a.m. Everyone is welcome. Go ahead and mute yourself. And we have been working on the thought that we just passed 2:22:22 yesterday, and it really seems like that was this part of our life, and this is the new part. And right here in the middle was this line. It was very significant, not just, the magic of how many twos? Two, 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 two. That's a lot of twos, and two is a master number. But the astrology was lined up such that there's an old and there's a new, and this is the doorway right here between the old and the new. For instance, the Declaration of Independence, I believe, was signed in that astrological position, and Pluto was very involved, which is death. So it was the death of the old and the new United States. Rome fell on that day. Okay? So yesterday, here we are poised on a potential third world war. We are going through so much socially, economically, and emotionally. We don't need to get into all the details about that, but we have to get on with it. We have to continue, and we must focus on this and let the rest go. So we do work a lot on that every week, on working with the emotional stuck energies, our ways of looking at things. But now we're going to focus and look this way. Our attention is forward. So it's been brought to my attention that I needed to express some intention towards how to do that. How to do that. So we've started going into the future and seeing and allowing new visions to come and come back and say, what's my part in it? And also to eradicate fear and emotional fields that would create more of the same. If you have issues getting along with people or feeling like you can't trust them, that's all the different shades of fear, and we're going to create more of the same. So we've been using these meditations to get free. But also, what's brought to my attention is we are morphing. We are changing physically. The dynamics of how our brains work is fundamentally changing. Of course, this particular period of time, we're having higher solar flares than ever before. And of course, that is energy. We are having successive waves of accelerating higher frequency fields. This is called the divine plan. And for a while it was stair-stepping, 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 meditate, release, go into a high state, then back to feeling the same. Meditate, release, go into a higher state. And now it's getting so painful to be whacked and to go back. We are having to create our own pristine bubbles of safety, sanctity, and attunement to the future. Because our very brains are restructuring. I myself and 3 other intuitive women are all having intracranial pressure. Think about it. We are morphing from, and I've seen pictures of the aliens, and they have big cone heads. Saturday Night Live was right. That was a joke, but maybe not that much, because Akhenaten in ancient Egypt, they show, is having really elongated brains. And of course, that mirrors the grid. This is Caroline Corey talking. Let me grab something real quick. There are geometric grids everywhere with toroid 0 points. And so imagine your brain is like this, and suddenly you're becoming an expanded fifth dimension. Well, what did you think? You think it wasn't going to be uncomfortable? It is expanding and connecting all the nodes within yourself that have never really connected to the travel grids, to the communication, to the time space grids accurately, appropriately, and divinely are suddenly zzz, bigger, brighter, more activities, more frequencies. And of course, I track everything. So I do voice bios on myself, which shows your voice shows how much energy you have in your body. So I've been tracking this since the intracranial pressures, and some days I have humongous, humongous energy, but it's all transfixed into my brain. And so the voice bio shows me what I'm intuiting and what I'm sensing. We are expanding our brain network. And a friend of mine said, "Did you think it would be comfortable?" Well, I think we signed up for this somewhere else. And we came in as volunteers, and to be a volunteer in the earth plane, everyone has to take that pill of forgetting. And slowly but surely, we are remembering and reminding each other. That's why we come together with these groups, that yes, in fact, we are morphing and we signed up for it. And on the other side, we didn't acknowledge or understand the human pain, the suffering that can come with stuck energy in your brain. It's almost like, we'll do it today, is that I needed to come up with the tool to release the angst as the pressure in all of this was building, that I finally realized it needs to get out. I needed to turn my solid skull into a spaghetti pasta strainer so that the energy could actually come out by using my intention. We move energy. Of course we move energy. Caroline Corey's new movies is Superhuman. You can get things moving by your attention. You can change the pH. You can change the pH of water. We know we have the power. And the skull is not like a stone. It has a porous sense, and the more I allow it to go into a higher vibrational state, there is more movement, more malleability, more flexibility. And so, in fact, I can create little loops of energy release. And then, further, I allowed myself to imagine I was unhinging, just like a DeLorean car, and opening and allowing for all that pressure just to be released. These physical bodies, again, are malleable. When we go up into the higher frequency rungs, over 732, we are in the creational realm with the divine beings, and this physical body can be rearranged. But for me, I sit there and I suffer until I remember. I need to know why it's happening and how it's happening, and then I get the tool. I get the picture. So I'm sharing that picture with you today. If you are having crazy symptoms and pressure and insomnia and not sleeping, it means that you are going through the actual morphing process. Okay? All right. So let's take a deep breath through our nose and out through our mouths. Remember, I said that we are not to reference, especially our emotional field, that's human Achilles heel, into the past. So I'm going to go through two processes today. One is allowing all that energy to expand. But the second one, actually it should be the first one, it's this. We have so much thinking. We have a beehive of thoughts and to-dos lists that are all related to the past. We must allow our mental and our mind to come to the still point. So I'm going to give you a great new tool for that. And here it is. Take a deep breath through your nose and out through your mouth. And begin to still your mind. No thoughts. And of course, you're feeling vulnerable. Who's in charge of things? Well, here's the beauty of it. We know how to create a sacred space around our own energetic field. Let's do that. It is a beautiful geometric structure. It's actually an octahedron. And within this space, you are commanding your system to release the on guard, the monitoring, the flight or fight, the all that comes from living in a fear-based world. And you are allowing yourself to feel safe and expand out into the limits of this sacred space. And you are assigning an exquisite assistant secretary, okay? And this secretary is over here to the left side where you can always see it in your periphery. And anything that comes into your field, you let the secretary handle it. Think about it. CEOs who really value their time, or queens, they have helpers. They don't take every text, every phone call, every request. They don't jump. They are not at the world's beck and call. They have a screen. And so I have this beautiful being. Charmaine keeps coming up. She has a beautiful angel costume and she has a beautiful desk. And so if something comes up in my world, if anything comes up, person says something or this request, the old me would have gone right into my body, and most of what comes into our worlds is kind of old paradigm vibration. So it puts you into shock, it fatigues you. So send it to Charmaine, send it to your secretary. So just for a moment, imagine that you have an angelic helper and she has her station, okay? It could be a man too. Mine's androgynous, actually. And there are all the files for things that are kept track of for me. She allows the sting of the energies of the world to have a resting place, because guess what? She's an angelic being and she doesn't have emotions that react. She just takes everything just like Mr. Spock. Oh, you have a request of Jan? Let me look at her schedule and then I will discuss with her. And Charmaine's so calm. She comes and says, Jan, this person would like to talk with you. And I go into my heart and I say, you know what? I think I'll shoot him a text tomorrow and tell him, well, thanks for checking in. And I feel in control of my world. I am in control of my world, and I've been letting other people control it at their whim. And remember, it's pretty much all predatory and fear-based. Even good people are riled and shook up. So imagine that you are keeping your energy field solid, cohesive, and whole. And even your loved ones don't get in here. Even your loved ones, bad moods, go to Charmaine. And Charmaine says, loved ones in a bad mood. Look at this behavior. Look what they're saying. And you are not getting all shook up. You are in your womb, embryonic state, birthing this new brain that is huge and will allow you to move effortlessly and painlessly into the new paradigm. So it's all good. And it's all very possible. So you can't afford a secretary. So you are creating this being that is like not so much a guard, but a facilitator for your life so that you are 5 degrees, 5 steps away emotionally so that your nervous system can grow. Those imaginal cells, like in a cocoon, can grow and then allow you to expand and become this delightful fifth-dimensional divine butterfly being that you're scheduled to be, calmly and comfortably or painfully still wrestling with the old world. So this is a tool as secretary. Now I'm going to suggest a couple ideas. You could sketch this out. You could give her a name. I talked to her during the day. I'll say, oh no, I don't want to do that. Would you handle that for me and get back to me and see how it's falling together? Why not? There are angelic beings. They're waiting for us to ask them. In fact, a couple of weeks ago, I listened to a friend talking about an angelic healing circle. This is an etheric, not real people here on the planet. She said, but if you're not feeling good, just put yourself in that circle. Just ask. So I said, sure. Put myself in that circle. And then a few minutes later, I get this kind of idea of walking out on her property. And there, remember the movie, The 50-Foot Woman? A 50-foot light shard of the sun coming to the trees is absolutely in the image of an angel. And I said, okay then, good. Yes, yes, confirmation. Okay, so we are sculpting our reality with our thoughts. So again, imagine that you are empty. You are in this beautiful, diaphanous, sacred space, the same space that we go into with the Be the Light every week, which is safe, expanded, and delicious, and that you have this sentry guard facilitated monitor out here to help you manage things and bring them in a very calm way. Excellent. So let's take a deep breath through our nose and out through our mouth. Step 2. We ask and intend to set this sacred space more powerfully now. We call in the divine beings. We allow ourselves to imagine that we are morphing, that we are going from this physical state, bone, skin, and fluid, into a more diaphanous, transparent, moving, energetic form. Hard to imagine because we're not there yet and we really can't see it. A lot of artists have rendered the fifth dimensional state of being. So just imagine what that feels like to be free, empty, iridescent, and reflecting and moving with the all that is in precise attunement. That's it right there. Beautiful. Okay, so there are some steps between now and this feeling that we are using our imagination to embody, to merge with. And some of the steps might entail pressures of change, of blood vessels, of structures. So imagine that if you are feeling pressure, right back here in the back of your neck, it's the medulla oblongata. And this is where we receive our spiritual energy. So imagine that all of this is suddenly lifting up, like some of those old-fashioned but now vintage modern campers do. The whole thing lifts up, and there is the lack of holding in. The energy's not being stuffed in there at the base of your skull anymore, but you are allowing the energy to come out like a mist, and you are releasing any pent-up frequency fields that have been held up in the human skull. So just allow that to unhinge and to open. Excellent. Also, imagine that there's a sky full of a beautiful blue sky full of gentle, soft clouds gently moving. And the energy from the back of your neck, completely open, is now balancing and merging with the gentleness and softness and kind of fluffy open structure of these clouds. The energy in the back of your head now matches the energy of the clouds. Soft, open, gently moving. Now take your attention to the bony structure we call our skull, the human skull. Imagine that it is not a hard bony structure at all, but it is beginning to soften with the warmth of the sun, the Creator's love, with an idea for the final morphing into our divine self, and that this skull is no longer needed for protection the way it has been in a third dimensional world. So allow it to begin almost like a soft, warm, golden, waxy material to begin to soften and open and create beautiful circular release holes. Imagine that your head is almost like a beehive with open structure. Actually, let's use, instead of circles, let's use the hexagonal beehive open structure that allows fluid to flow through and in and out and around, allows the ambient atmosphere to come in and around and in and out. There is no barrier between the divine grid and your brain. It is completely fused and open and flowing and free in beautiful, subtle strings of the grid lines of electromagnetic energy flowing into your entire being through this brain network. Nothing is excited. There is no static. Completely open system. Now, if you were to experience any pressure at the top of your head in the coming future, simply imagine the two large doors are opening wide, right at your crown chakra, and that you are opening yourself to receive the light of Source, that you are letting go of human congestion once and for all. Just letting it go. You don't even have to know what it is. You're just releasing it out of the top of your head, and it feels so wonderful. So you are breathing in the light of Source into this hexagonal, beautiful, open system. And you are breathing out this fountain of old earth energies. And heavens, it might be subconscious energies from other lifetimes, other incarnations. It might be other things that you have signed up for that you don't even remember to help the earth rebirth itself. You are simply a purification module right now. You're a circuit board. Take a deep breath. This energy is shimmying down into your systems. Let this energy come right into your heart and begin to shimmy loose the sadness, the heaviness, the sense of will this ever be over? The sense of can I really believe that I'm a divine being and we're moving into a divine plan? Just let those old grains of sand, those human constructions, just breathe them out. Just let it go. We ask and intend to make an oath. From this moment on, we will let ourselves be inspired and be held by these life-giving forces in an open system transfused with divine energies. And that's enough. The divine plan will create itself because you are in the zone. And the more of us in the zone, it's a natural consequence of physics. There's no efforting. So from this space, we're just going to take maybe 5 minutes to ask and intend to imagine ourselves in the future as our fifth dimensional forms. Allow your heart to move forward into this space, into this parallel reality, which does exist because of the time and space continuum. Avail yourselves of the view of the beautiful you. Look into the eyes of this being and know the truth, the realness, the trustworthiness of this process. Feel into this being's physical, if there is a physical aspect, how this being holds the galaxies and the universes in the heart of Source within its core. Allow yourself to merge with this being now. Aranturia Shinghai Nirirangai synchronize all the harmonics of your being with this being, and ask that anything that needs a little reattunement be recreated in this moment. And very gently, we begin to come back into our own physical body here, knowing that we are only one thought, one breath away from this divine beingness that is real, does reside in a time and space. So take a nice deep breath and begin to just move around in your chair or bed or wherever you are, and move your arms and just feel the cocoon is definitely juicy and softening and beginning this forward momentum towards the full bloom. So now, to hold yourself in this space, imagine a beautiful golden resilient egg around your entire body. And allow these, they're like little waves, to continue to move through you with loving thoughts and a gentle, softness. Just allow yourself to stay in this space as I bring this part of our time together to a conclusion by pressing stop on the recording. Recording goes out to the world, but then we can stay and have a conversation and share our findings in this meditation. So I'll sign off saying I'm Jan Jorgensen at Sound and Light Healing Arts